The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
The Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roller. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, it's been a struggle for many years for residents over the bridge in Lucaya, but after many months of lobbying and reaching out to the relevant authorities, residents now have reason to celebrate. This achievement is said to be the result of a strong partnership with the area's Member of Parliament and the Grand Bahama Power Company. It wasn't an easy fight for residents in the East, but they have finally gotten their wish and now have access to cable television services. According to Cable Bahamas Operations Manager Edris Wilson, the extension began in 2010. Wilson says it took approximately 3 weeks for technicians to complete the work in December, but she admits that partnership played a major role.
The cost of infrastructure and materials and so on from our end of it is always a cost, a big cost. But when you factor in this case, having to utilize Grand Bahama Power to put in additional poles or whatever is required, then of course that cost can be expensive.
Wilson says the overall project has cost the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. She says the challenge with East Grand Bahama is the distance between homes and the fact that not all residents are subscribing for the service.
The area is so very, very spread out. The homes are a lot of distances apart, and so that being the case, the infrastructure that would have been required would have been very capital intensive. You're talking about some heavy money here, and so that being the case, it was a major financial outlay for the company. That being said, the uptake from the residents over the bridge has been very dismal. For years, people had been asking us to provide service over here, to make the services available. We did, albeit it took some time, but also too, of course, now people aren't subscribing to it as we had initially expected.
For years now, residents over the bridge have gone without cable services. Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama Peter Turnquest have heard the complaints firsthand. The MP partnered with Cable Bahamas to ensure that this long-awaited project came to fruition.
Over the last 2 years, we've been canvassing various neighborhoods to determine the needs. And one of the issues that keep coming up in various pockets is the need for cable services. And so we decided that we would make contact with Cable Bahamas to determine the requirements in order to extend the services into these areas. And we're very pleased to have received a very welcoming reception to our requests to extend the services in particular areas. And as we go along, we will continue to work with the partners to try and determine other infrastructural needs that are necessary in these communities, and where we can assist, we will certainly do our best.
In other news, the first murder trial of the new year got underway in the Supreme Court this morning. But before jurors would be selected, the accused in the case, 40-year-old Eric Alice, pled guilty to manslaughter, and he was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Alice pled guilty to the stabbing death of 57-year-old Stelvin Hall at the victim's home in 8 Mile Rock in September 2012. Police say the victim was stabbed in the chest following an altercation with a group of men that was allegedly connected to an earlier disagreement over a basketball game. Alice was represented by attorneys Carlson Sherland and Simone Brown. Senior Justice Hartman Longley presided. And detectives are investigating the discovery of 2 bullet-riddled bodies in Abaco. Officers were on mobile patrol near the SC Boodle High School around 3 o'clock on Saturday morning when they discovered a male occupant slumped over on the passenger side of a 2001 Blue Maxima with gunshot wounds to the body. Later that morning around 9 o'clock, officers discovered the body of another man lying in the street at Bahama Coral Island. The man was found with gunshot wounds to the back of the head. Officers from the Central Detective Unit here in Grand Grand Bahama are assisting police in Abaco with those investigations. Now, police are aggressively investigating both incidents and are asking anyone with any information to contact telephone numbers in Abaco at 367-2560, 367-3437, in Grand Bahama 350-3107 or 8-911-919, or call your nearest police station. And 4 more suspects have been arrested in connection with that major drug haul here on Grand Bahama last Wednesday. On Friday, police took in custody 3 men and a 21-year-old woman of 8 Mile Rock. Police say the group was picked up from a hotel on Beachway Drive. Now, initially, officers arrested 8 suspects for questioning regarding the 42 bales of marijuana discovered when a 42-foot vessel pulled up on a beach in Holmes Rock. The drugs have a street value of over $2 million. The criminal element attacking a local church and the leader of that house of worship is making yet another appeal. John Davis Roll has this story.
We're trying to be ambassadors of goodwill, but they're making it very, very difficult.
It is a vexing situation for Reverend Barry Morris, the pastor of a house of worship which sits in a small coastal community. Vexing because for the past 10 years, he has been the leader of the Church of God of Prophecy Hebron Town Mission, and thieves and vandals have struck not once.
They came, they kicked down a door.
Not twice.
They came another time, they kicked down the front door.
But 3 times.
This time, they entered in through a window. 3 strikes, you are out. And I want to let whoever know that's doing this, God has had enough of it. You know, you're taking advantage of God's people. You know, we're trying to help this community, and it's a disservice when you think that you have a right to steal from God and God's people.
This act of sacrilege, he says, is violating the sanctity of the church and is downright disgraceful.
This is a departure from our times when men would be walking past a congregation of worship and have their hats on. They would tip their hats and walk silently past. Now they blast their music, interrupting the church service. They have no fear of God. They have no fear of man.
The religious leader believes he not only has a pulse on the root cause of crime, but he also has some clear-cut solutions.
There's a compendium of things that we need to do. You know, and I hear the outcry for capital punishment. That is one. That is one of the things that we need to consider and do. The Bible says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, then the sons of men, their hearts are set to do evil continually. And so it keeps increasing because there are no results. You go, you steal, you kill, you're out of jail, and you can have your own way. When he goes to court, it should be sentencing time. You will have 6 years of hard labor, and every 4 months, 3 cuts with the cat 9 tail. When that's done, it's going to register. You know, the Apostle Paul says to rebuke before all so that others are made fair. There are consequences for wrong actions, and known consequences where we could see what's happening. There will be a difference in us. So the government needs to take a proactive approach. We all understand that. The government really needs to take a proactive approach in dealing with these people who are becoming menaces to society.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
Minister of National Security, along with a delegation of top law enforcement officials on Grand Bahama last week, meeting with religious leaders on the island. Both parties discussing crime prevention strategies on the island. Megan Shepard has this story.
Minister of National Security on Grand Bahama late last week, taking the opportunity to dialogue with the religious community during a meeting with the Pastors Forum. President of the forum, Pastor Wilbur Outen, says many churches on Grand Bahama have been doing their part through community outreach programs, and they are prepared to continue the fight against crime along with the support of the minister. Pastor Elvis Burrows adds that while they are doing their share, he believes that the Ministry of National Security can assist them in a more tangible way.
Through the Pastors Forum, we have done several community events. Last year, we did a intervention program at one of the junior high schools for marginalized, troubled male students, and so we want to highlight that. We have programs that all of our churches are involved in working with young people. The juvenile court sometimes would refer kids to us.
We see a lot of money is being spent on buying new police cars, training of police officers, but maybe some of that monies or resources can be diverted into programs, into parental training for children, because crime is really a symptom of a deeper issue. How could we use our resources to maybe impact children, boys programs, girls program, parental, and dealing with marital issues.
Minister for National Security, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Nodditt, says that a major plank in the fight against crime lies in prevention. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, also at the forum, adding that crime is a very hot issue in the country, and he offers his full support to both the Pastors Forum and the Ministry of National Security.
I would like to see the church play a more positive role in the development of our youth, because by the time they reach the teens and the early 20s, their compass is set, and it's difficult to correct any ill development. We've been having these listening fora, and one of the things that has really blown our minds is that the people in the communities, they know what's going on in communities, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and if we can just enlist them in the fight against crime, then I believe we'll go a very long way to reducing crime throughout the Bahamas.
I'm pleased to know that the Pastors Forum, which is a wide cross-section of denomination and religious leaders in Grand Bahama, is concerned about the issue of crime and will bring the minister up to date of issues as it relates to Grand Bahama as well as the nation. I'm here as Minister for Grand Bahama to give the full support necessary to the Minister of National Security and to answer any questions the pastors may have specifically to the island of Grand Bahama.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. A one-day forum set for tomorrow for small and medium-sized businesses at the Pelican Bay Hotel. Local companies involved in the export of goods and services will have another opportunity to apply for special funding through the Caribbean Export Development Agency's Direct Assistance Grant Program. This initiative is part of the Caribbean Trade and Private Sector Development Program signed by CARICOM members and the union. Now, the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation and the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce are also supporting this venture. Persons who qualify for the business grant will have to make the investment, and then CEDO will issue a reimbursement of up to 70%. And a woman who has been in the forefront of the Junkanoo movement on Grand Bahama is now a member of the Junkanoo Legend Circle. Tonight, this educator and Junkanoo enthusiast says she remains committed to the craft and hopes it will continue to grow among the schools throughout the district. Here's Megan Shepard.
Third grade teacher at Sunland Baptist Academy, Lavender Roberts, moved to Grand Bahama in the 1970s and immediately found ways to immerse herself in the Junkanoo culture. For decades, she has helped schools learn the culture and help develop junior Junkanoo here on the island. In December 2013, Roberts was given her roses for years of committed service and inducted into the National Junkanoo Committee Legend Circle.
I'm very grateful and I'm honored to be honored of such a prestigious award. And I take it as being one who received it on behalf of all those who have assisted me over the years. It's been some 30 years now that I've been involved, and it was all about teamwork more than just me spearheading everything.
Robert says that Junior Junkanoo should not be all about competition, but rather instilling in our young people good moral standards, healthy competition, and a love of our oldest cultural tradition.
Junkanoo can be very expensive, and not to discourage children, well, I don't have the money to participate, and the assisted funds from the ministry can only go so far. I like to see the children know that it's our culture, it's a part of our way of living. And the best way to teach children is to show them and to let them participate. Give them an opportunity to think and to create.
Robert says Junkanoo is all about the excitement of rushing and the pride of creativity by the children.
Over the 30 years, I've been so thrilled to see how we have grown in Grand Bahama. I now think we have about 30 children, 30 schools entering, and that's a plus. So we need to, as a community, support the schools. Please, all of you out there, come out and cheer us on. The children would love to be a feeder to the senior groups, which you can see now during the New Year's parade. A lot of the choreography are young kids, the drummers, right down to the toddlers.
On being honored, Robert says she is very humbled.
I say thanks to all of those who saw my passion, saw my dream, because like I said, as a little girl, I always wanted to be in Junkanoo. And I stood behind the little ones to enjoy the rhythm of the music, especially when that goatskin drum and the tom-tom start, and the shaking of the cowbells, and the excitement of the dancers on the streets. You watch the excitement of the little faces and the little ones moving magically along the roads, So I pray for our country to learn that if we teach our kids the origins of Junkanoo, the origins of where we came from, I think we'll have a better Bahama land.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
And finally, in news this evening, 2 local organizations have teamed up to promote literacy in the Eastern District. Sabrina Brown has the details.
It's a partnership that officials hope will create leaders by developing readers. The Urban Renewal High Rock team has joined forces with the Sir Charles Hayward Library to initiate a mobile library for communities in East Grand Bahama. Urban Renewal Center Manager Arnett Coakley Archer.
I was transferred to High Rock about 3 months ago, and during the early stages of my assessment throughout the community, I realized that the children in the community, once they came into the center, to the resource center, they were really interested in the books. So I started bringing books from home because my children are avid readers. And they kept saying to me, there's no more books.
Executive Director of the Sir Charles Hayward Library, Geneva Rutherford, is excited about this new relationship. She says the library spearheaded a similar program in the summer of 2010.
The librarian or the assistant at that time took boxes of books, and we started from Gold Rock and we went to McLeanstown. And every side street where there were children in homes, we went knocking on the doors. And they borrowed books every Saturday, and the next Saturday they exchanged them. And that was the best community building exercise I ever participated in as far as the library is concerned.
The mobile library team will canvass the eastern communities every other Saturday, taking boxes of books as they cater to some 200 young people. Librarian Shanrika Gardner.
Here in the library, we have easy through young adults. So what I did, I selected based on the age level she gave me, which is juniors and juveniles. But I also got some easy, because you may have some 8-year-olds, but they may not be at the junior level. So I got easy books, but not too easy. And then you may have some juniors who read at the juvenile level.
Rutherford is appealing to members of the public to donate children's books to the library.
When you could get lost in a book, your knowledge develops, your language skills, your spelling, your ability to write well. And it comes always, those persons in our society who read a lot, you will find they write well, they express themselves well. It's the knowledge from reading that's critical.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. Ricardo Lightborn is up next with a check on sports.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sports. I'm Ricardo Lightborn. Tonight this one goes out to my good friend Kirk Cooper back there in Master Control. Didn't speak to me today, but he knows why. The 49ers have been booted out of the playoffs, buddy. You in the same seat I am right now. We're going to have us some fun. Well, G. Rutherford girls basketball tournament, folks, is fast approaching, and you can expect an exciting tournament. The Hoyt Geneva Rutherford Girls Basketball Tournament will be played February 20th through the 23rd at the St. George's Gymnasium this year. Freeport Oil Company is a major sponsor of the tournament. Spokesperson for Focal, Peter Adderley, said Focal is dedicated to the development of young people and girls basketball is moving.
Focal remains committed to the positive development and growth of young people through their academics and athletic skills. This event sets a stage so that young girls are able to show off their basketball talents, and through the basketball court skills and what they do in the classroom, they've been able to combine the athletic, academic abilities. And over the years, we've seen hundreds of girls receive college scholarship as a result of playing in this tournament.
Founder and president of Hoyt's, Coach Glastonbury McPhee, thanked Focal for their commitment to the tournament and the young people of the country.
Each year, we have no less than 4 girls that we send off to school because of this tournament. And so it's a pleasure for us to always to know that we have Focal always there waiting to sponsor this tournament. And once again, I said we will again make them proud as a sponsor, because we will make sure that our girls enjoy themselves.
20 teams have committed from Eleuthera, Andros, Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, lacing up the sneakers and play. Well, let's go to high school hoops now. The Derek Nesbitt Richie Adley League and senior boys play. It was a pretty good one. Sunland defeating the St. Paul's 41-3. St. George's over Bishop McAllen 25-10. Tabernacle defeating Igmorock 38-34. And as far as the junior boys, Jack Haywood outscoring Sister Mary Patricia Russell 27-23. And the BMS Warriors top St. Paul's 33-13. Igmorock with a 50-10 win over Luganda National. Tabernacle with a 42-9 win as well over Sunland. And the Grandma Basketball Association also got some games in. The Grandmama Shipyard Cruises blew out the Saturday Ballers 86-49. Quentin Three-Ounce Hall had a 12-point game for the Ballers. Rodan Porter with 16. The Arawak Stars defeated the Men of Honor 79-68. Erwin Lewis 25 points and Greg Monroe with 17 points in the loss. And tonight they play a couple games. The Tanker Predators will play their first game tonight. They'll take on the Saturday Ballers, and the Grandmama Shipyard Cruises will take on the Men of Honor. My good friend Ted Mackey's not having a very good day. As you know, New England's been booted from the playoffs, and Lawanda Lippy Burrows carrying on like a fool who just got a new toy. Yes, it is Denver going to the Super Bowl. I understand. I got to deal with this for 2 weeks. That's sports.